Today we're going to talk about something that is just so nuts to me that anyone would do, let alone a big, huge company that can easily be fact-checked. Like, you're just out here lying in a way that is damaging, like, to a lot of people, and is just dishonest for what? But then from there, I also wanted to talk about some similar lies that are occurring in the games industry that I feel like I am seeing gamers fall for, that I just wanted to take the time to demystify a little. Basically, big companies keep lying about the tech they're using and what it can do, which is like unsurprising because that's a big company's gonna big company. For the first topic, film. In case you missed it, Greta Gerwig's Barbie, very accomplished, claims to have filmed a bunch of scenes without CGI. They even presented a sort of making of documentary where they claim to show how certain things in the film were done with no CGI. This Yahoo News article falls for it, even though it is like very easily proven to be untrue. Hi, yes, hello. By now you probably know that Barbie is the biggest movie of 2023. I don't know how else you read something that starts like that. While moving between Barbie land and the real world, I can't keep that up, I'm going to die on the inside. Barbie and Ken traveled through a bunch of different scenes using a car, boat, spaceship, bicycle, camper van, and snowmobile before rollerblading in Venice Beach. And this section of the movie did look really cool. I love that it has like the toy box aesthetic. I think that's something that this movie nailed. It looks rad. So yeah, they just keep doing these like different versions of Barbie sets where they're dressed in appropriate Barbie attire, Barbieing through the land to get from Barbie Land to Venice Beach. Venice Beach, truly the pinnacle of the world. Nobody likes it there. Well, it's a fun transition montage every single time it happens. What makes it even better is how it was filmed. Namely, it was all done practically on set using some old school movie magic. They've got little images here showing how they were held up by strings. Instead of having the actors film these moments on a green or blue screen and have the elements CGI'd in later, Barbie elected to build sets and backdrops, which helped give the two-dimensional feeling that is seen in the finished scenes. Now, again, I'm going to show it to you, but why would you lie about this? Obviously, because CGI is lazy, cheap man's way to make film. Ugh, we turn our noses up at CGI. Disgusting. Hang on, I need to move my camera back over so you can't see my fake cyberpunk background. I mean, no, that's all real. It's all definitely real. Now, there are certainly things that I do not like about overuse of CGI. I prefer a lot of things being done practically, things being done in a way that's painted. I'm certainly one of the people that is kind of getting sick of the volume. So much of Star Wars started to look the same. It looked really empty because they're using the volume, which a lot of you will have seen. It's very, very, very cool tech. You can't use it everywhere. And there are certainly downsides to overuse of CGI. George Lucas, do you know what I mean? But also a reality of CGI, and most people who talk about there being no CGI, is actually that it takes a lot of people a lot of effort to get right. There are so many people in so many visual effects departments who work incredibly hard on making CGI backgrounds work that erasing them just sucks. Like, it's just, not only are you lying to customers to, I don't know, again, pretend that you don't have CG, but you're also diminishing the hard work of people who like put so much effort into this. Like, it is a technical challenge, okay? And this is basically one of those industries that's very similar to game development, in my opinion, is when you do CGI really, really well, nobody notices. You'll only notice when it's bad. This also totally happens in game dev. It's really difficult to tell when somebody has done something well because the point is that it's completely seamless and not at all noticeable, which is clearly what's happening with a lot of these movies that are claiming no CGI. And I guess the thing is, we're currently at a point where CGI often is so good that for all the times you can say you hate CGI, you don't want CGI in movies, so much of it is just already so good that most people don't even notice it. Half the movies that are praised for not having CGI, like Top Gun Maverick, get points on the reviews because they didn't use CGI, but actually they did. It's just a blend of practical and CGI. For the record, I learned about all of this through a YouTube channel that's called The Movie Rabbit Hole. Credit to them for literally all of this. I'm going to leave a link in the description to their series that is no CGI, it's just invisible CGI. I highly recommend you watch their videos. Way, way, way more detailed than any of the context I will be giving here, but it is really interesting stuff. Let me show you a little bit about Top Gun Maverick.
It turns out a lot of the aircraft they filmed practically were not the aircraft you see in the final film. Instead, they filmed these L-39 stand-in jets, painted them gray, and added tracking markers so they could be used for lighting reference and tracked. The good old F-14, it's all CGI. The enemy's 5th generation fighters, they don't exist. They're all CGI, which means that in the entire dogfight at the end of the movie, you're watching 100% CGI airplanes because none of these planes exist.
So this is certainly a thing that keeps happening. Now, to jump to Barbie specifically, this is the thing that I think is like exceptionally gross, okay?
This scene was filmed on blue screen. There is a blue screen here, and you can see they've badly removed it and inserted the desert background to.
And then Again, you can spot the blue screen keying, and he's right, you can see it. You can see it in Ken's hair, you can see it in the backgrounds, and then they claim in their own making of that none of this exists. There are photos of blue screens being used on this set. That's a blue screen.
Warner Brothers has done a complete blue screen removal on 45 minutes of bonus material.
It's nuts. And the thing about this that I think I find the wildest is that if you look in the Barbie credits, you can see lists of people's names in the VFX department. Like, why are we pretending that those people just don't exist? So this is a thing that they'll also do in behind the scenes photos. If you see behind the scenes photos of actors on sets with blue screens, they will usually edit them to be gray so that it looks like a studio. You can even see the color on her hair here. This is clearly not gray. There is color seeping through from a blue background. That is a blue reflection coming off of hair. You can't really hide the reflection of a blue screen in a lot of cases. There you go. Perfect example. This is all blue screen. You can see the blue around here, but for some reason, they can't let the people know. No CGI really just means no bad CGI at this point. And what that means, in my opinion, is that the people who are doing this work deserve even more credit. Like, they've made something that's so good that you can't tell that it's there, that the companies who are marketing these movies are comfortable saying there's no CGI, because the people who are doing this type of VFX work are so talented at this point. Doesn't that mean they should get more credit, not less credit? Is that such a crazy stance? Basically, you're effectively being lied to, and most of these things are CGI, even if CGI as a phrase doesn't really apply. It's more just VFX. It's a lie, it's marketing, and it's so nuts that we are dismissing all of the hard work of all of these people. Now, as this pertains to video games, what's happening right now to video games is actually almost the opposite. Obviously, we know that video games are not real. I know, shocking new information I'm presenting you with today. But the current swoop of AI is heading in an opposite direction with the same intent that the no CGI marketing is in the film industry. You remember NFTs? You remember when everybody was trying to put those in video games? You mean that I can ruin the thing I love by making it entirely monetized? It was actually so funny to me to watch all of these companies be like, gamers will love this. It will improve video games. Because it just tells you these CEOs have like no concept of why gamers actually like to play video games, which is because they enjoy them. I have a family friend who has said something vaguely similar to me. He's like, why aren't you getting in on NFT gaming? Oh, like every friend I have who's worked in NFT gaming who's been laid off? Yeah, but there's so much money, Alanah. You should know. How are you not doing it? Yeah, it's because gamers don't actually find that appealing at all. Just CEOs do. And it's just really funny to watch people not understand the concept of fun. Like, gamers don't want to have to play something as a second job or a marketplace. So they really tried and realized that it wouldn't work. And so now the push from all of these startups, which in many cases are the same people who had failed NFT gaming companies, is for AI. Gamers don't seem to mind AI as much. You may have seen Asmongold went sort of viral for saying this recently.
If it was made with AI, I'm completely okay with that because it was fun. Artists' opinions don't matter. It just doesn't matter, because what matters is the opinion of the people that are buying the product.
So if you don't know, Asmongold is a big Blizzard streamer mostly, I think. And people are very upset with him for saying this, like almost canceled him for saying this, even though he is ultimately correct. The opinion of the artist does not matter. The market will dictate whatever it wants to do, regardless of the opinion of the artists, is the reality. When it comes to sales and Palworld being successful, people are still going to play it if it is fun. They're not going to care that artists don't like it. I actually think that, like, as my stance on AI, I think you have to make up your own decision. Pick and choose what you want. It's going to get messy out here, where generative AI is concerned. There are certain things that I personally will not play. You have to make your own choice. For me, I don't want to play something that has art that was AI generated, that has writing that was completely AI generated, or that has music that was completely AI generated. That is my stance. Maybe I won't even be able to hold off on that for very long. Hopefully we can. But my attitude personally is like, what is the point in even existing? Like, literally, what's the point in being human if not to at least experience culture or community? You know, that's how I feel about it. You have to make your own choice about what you do and don't want to play. But within this framework, there is so much misinformation that is coming from these same shitty NFT bros who are trying to sell you on how amazing games can be if they just use AI because they're trying to make you accept it, even though in a lot of cases, games already use AI. Every single video game already uses AI. I don't know how we've forgotten that. The word AI is being thrown around as some net negative, even though video games have been using AI for a very, very, very long time. B, there are a lot of things that companies are trying to sell to you that video game developers can already actually do. It's so obvious to me that they're just trying to sneak in AI to get a quick buck from any company they can while it's still hot because the NFTs didn't work. Like, it's the same fucking people, genuinely, look it up. Literally the same names of founders of these companies. It's so nuts. This is an article from The Verge about NVIDIA's new AI NPCs. I'm a huge fan of NVIDIA. I have their graphics cards. Them pushing AI tech is hugely beneficial to them as a company. Same as NFTs were, actually. NVIDIA makes so much hardware and there's so much tech that is dependent on their exact kind of hardware. But there's this particular part of this article that people were calling out on game dev Twitter that I think is really interesting. The article talks about them trying the NVIDIA AI and that it wasn't actually very good at this point in time, but goes on to say, I can now absolutely imagine games where NPCs remember what they've seen and react to the game's scripts as it unfolds. The right bits could enter their memory bank at the right time, get filtered through their personality and desires, and make a game more immersive and interactive as a result. We can already do this in video games. This is already available in development tools. This does not need some new AI tech. In fact, that's the case for half of the things that people are claiming AI will be able to do. Or at the very least, that AI tech has already existed. People keep talking about it with Grand Theft Auto. They're trying to patent, I think Rockstar is trying to patent some new technology that would allow for more immersive reactions. Say, you know, how in previous GTAs, if it rains, they might pull up a newspaper to cover their head, or maybe if they have an umbrella, they'll use it. They're trying to combine that body language with the weather effect, with maybe that particular NPC being in a certain mood. This does not require any new AI tech. This is not some recent breakthrough. This is something that literal game dev tools can already facilitate. It's being spoken about as though it's some new thing. This is just how game development is able to function and has always been able to function, as long as people have the room and the ideas to iterate. But that's not some new AI is going to replace everybody in video games thing. That is still somebody coming up with those systems. This stuff does not require generative AI, which is the thing that I am talking about personally being against, which thankfully Verge did mention here, is we can already, as game developers, use these things to augment games. That's half of what game dev is making sure that when this person reaches this place and this thing happens, that they remember this thing also happened. It can still be very complicated and AI can still make mistakes with that kind of stuff as well. But it's not some new thing. But yes, we don't want any of it replacing voice actors, writers, or artists. Again, you're going to have to decide what your personal stance is. Do whatever you want with that. But it's just so bizarre to watch these things basically be repackaged as some shiny new tech that's going to make video games better for players when it's stuff that already exists. Like, this is just nonsense. It's not even generative AI. It's basically just another silly little bubble. Don't let them fool you. Do I think some of these companies will succeed? Yes. Do I think that what Asmongold said is correct? That the opinions of the artist ultimately don't matter? Yes, and it was almost surprising to see him get that much backlash for it. It's like, it sucks, like they should, but financially they don't matter. The industry will go wherever the money is, regardless of what anyone thinks about it, which is why I say, make up your own mind. What kind of AI you are or are not against. No part of it is hypocritical to be okay with some things and not okay with other things because they are in such vastly different categories. Basically, I just like the tech industry to stop lying about shit. That's my take.